We got a lot to talk about in this live stream. If that intro was very awkward, it's because I'm just watching my screen when I click go live, waiting for it to tell me I'm live, and then told me we're a few seconds in, so let's jump right into it. So U.S. regulators are going to bail out the SVB customers. You can't access all your money. So traditionally, FDIC takes over and it's 250 grand cap. Hey, we're going to give you that. You have 10 billion in there. We're going to cut you a 250,000 check. But sounds like they're trying to nip this in the bud now. So markets can react to a multitude of ways to this. But for now, pretty cool actually. So we go down. So bank failure is the second largest in the U.S. history on a bank you've probably never even heard of. So if you look right here, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Sunday instructed that the sorry, I'm reading on the wrong screen. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation (FDIC) to guarantee Silicon Valley Bank customers will have access to all their money starting Monday. Sounds cool because it sounds like, from what I take from this, again, maybe this isn't my wheelhouse or anything, so I guess it could be corrected later. The bank's still going to fail, but the customers won't feel the pain. So they're not going to bail out everybody and say, hey, here's all the money, you stay afloat. It's you're going to fail, but the ship and the captain are the only ones going down. And not really the captain, because he sold his shares last week, so he kind of knew this was coming. They say insiders aren't great traders, but this particular one happened to be a good one. Mr. Q in the comments says, bail me out. I wish we could. How many people have to lose in the stock market, and at what amount for everyone to just get bailed out? Like, hey, don't worry, you're good, we got you. It'd be nice. All right, so by guaranteeing all deposits, even the uninsured money customers kept with the failed bank, the government can ensure public confidence in America's banking system. Read that again. Public confidence in America's banking system. If we did not have that, I was actually just recording my video on Don Fron Trading, where we go over the stock market's expected moves, and we're pricing in a pretty spicy week. And I can tell you right now, at least with those words right now, ensure the confidence in our banking system. I was curious tomorrow, is there just going to be a long line looking like some Black Friday special at all the banks? Because people will panic. There will be a run on the banks. You'll find out the whole dollar thing is a lie. Banks are not required to have like any money. Like, I don't think at all. Like, there's a law that changed in 2020 that basically says it's all a lie. Like, you guys think Bitcoin's a lie? Like, the dollar is just the lie that everyone believes. As long as everybody does believe it, it's fine. The whole system stands true. And what I mean, it's just a dollar on a screen. Even the cash you had in your pocket was all the same size. One just said 100, one said $1, and you believe they're different. Like I said, as long as everybody believes it, you're good. If everybody doesn't believe that, this is where I bring it all back. If everybody does not believe that, quits believing in that system, and there is a run on the banks, everyone says, just give me all my cash. They'll find out banks can't support that. Every bank fails. Everyone gets toasted off. Like, it wouldn't actually be toast. Couldn't even afford that. Could they just Superman rewind? It's funny because we was just talking about that at a gymnastics meet. Someone said the old Superman movies were kind of crazy because he would just fly around the world so fast that the Earth would spin backwards, and that would affect time. That would essentially kill everyone. But that would be pretty sweet. But no. So the cool story is, it sounds like they're gonna bail this out, and honestly, they probably needed to. If there was that run on the banks, because we'll switch over to charts right here. XLF led this market down. IWM went almost 4 standard deviations last week. Financials just jumping off a cliff. That was one bank, but the idea of that bank was just felt across the whole financial industry, and everyone's like, is my bank gonna be next? And like I was talking about with my mentorship group and the streams last week, was the burden of proof is now on the banks to say, hey, we're not like that. We didn't over leverage. We didn't buy too many bonds. Like, we didn't do what they did. We're different. It was like when FTX failed. Everyone looked at all the crypto brokerages, say, are you like this? Like, they had nothing to do with it. But like, no. But yeah, now we got to prove that we're not. So how this is going to affect the markets, looks like XLF might get a dip by, which could drive some markets up. We have CPI coming out Tuesday. I guess we will pull that up because I don't want to say the wrong dates on this. Economic calendar. Consumer inflation. Is it? No, Tuesday. Here we go. All right. CPI. So consensus, I guess 301. It's on the 14th. 14th, 1 hour before open. Ooh. So Monday morning, you got all of tomorrow is going to be your positioning basically for CPI. If Monday does anything tomorrow, it's going to be everybody just you ever been to a casino? You're about to play roulette, and now you're putting all the chips on the table. You know, because that bell on Monday night is basically going to be that the person at the casino saying no more bets. We're done. Stock market's going to have earnings tomorrow. There's going to be an announcement. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. I would make sure your allocation reflects that, because if it goes up or down, and I'm sure you're just really gung-ho about your positions, that's awesome. But if it's the wrong way, yeah, imagine for 1 second you're wrong. How bad is that going to hurt? And it could wreck some things. And that being said, let's say you put your money where your mouth is. You go on short, and then there's a red candle, and then the bell rings. It might just spring up. There's nothing to say we're going to have that reaction and then a continuation, because we're going to have the reaction 1 hour before open. It's going to be algos trading, and everybody, it'll be all hands on deck. You know, if you're in the stock market, you're going to be watching Tuesday morning. So you're going to have that reaction, and then you're going to have the bell where more volume comes in, more things open up. Options contracts can be traded, and options do drive order flow, so you'll see a lot of that. So it'll be, does everybody pick, let's say reaction's red, we sell off, we're tanking. At that point, puts are going to gap up. Does everybody want to pay that premium and drive this thing even further, or are the calls really cheap and they'd rather just risk that bet and try to take a long play? So we shouldn't push in all our chips on red. The only way you can lose all your chips is by putting them all out there in the first place. You want to play a couple, play a few. Isn't the market already priced as if the CPI was really hot since the sell-off? Some people, I'm sure some people already placed their bets. There are some people, like, I really, it's not against you, because I know you've probably even heard this rant 100 times. You've been here for a while. Everybody loves to say, oh, it's already priced in. Not everybody just makes their decision ahead of time. Some people actually do just wait for the data and then do it. And then there's algos that trade. With algos trading, it's just they get their parameters, because their algos, they're not real. It's not AI. It's just a math problem. But they get the parameters that morning. Hey, this is what we're dealing with. Do this and that. So there will still be the reaction after, regardless. So the whole, and I really, that like triggers me. I hate the whole priced in. Like, oh, it's baked in. Like, oh, is it? And why is everyone talking about it? It's not. It leads to a conversation later of, oh, it was priced in, so now we're buying it. Buy the rumor, sell the news. It's just a bunch of, when people talk about things being priced in like that, I'm sure some really do. There's like a kernel of truth to it, but a lot of it is just more word gymnastics, so they can pretend why they were right or wrong, or why they knew it was in the first place. If this sell-off hadn't happened and CPI comes in hot, the market would go to where we are now. Yeah, and if CPI, now that we got the move down and that same reaction comes out, does it send it even further? It's like two separate things. What someone said in the chat, though, was, so it looks like 50 basis points is off the table now. 50 basis point high kind of got that fear, but then we got like another natural, was it natural fear? So maybe the market's tanked enough. Maybe there's enough fear in another case that we don't have to do 50 basis point hikes. If we did 50 basis points, it was going to be a red reaction. I don't think we do. I think what they're going to announce is 25 basis points, and what I'm watching for, actually, is 25 basis points, and we're going to stay the course, or 25 basis points, but also, by the way, we're going to add an additional 25 basis points on at the end. So essentially still the 50 basis points, but just not lump sum right up front. It's kind of what I was looking out for. Could XLF for continuation tomorrow be a play? Honestly, I almost shorted the crap out of this. I really thought this would, now, I was actually happy to see a lot of people in my main chat. So if you're on like my Patreon, this is tier 2. That's where I do stream every day, and you're in my chat. I was surprised at how many people are neutral over the weekend. Because Friday, I really wanted the bulls to come in hot. And I was even bullish. I bought the dip. I was like, nah, this is not panning out. So I had to switch gears and go short. I was short. I'd already tagged out. The futures actually opened red and then turned around and went green real fast. I did not buy the dip, but the only thing I did was tag out. Which the futures, so just watch me for a second. Usually we open up like this, But we opened up like this today. It was like, that was a bigger open. So that's why I moved my stops up. And then I literally went to the chat and said, hey, this is a red movement, a little bit bigger than last week's. Just sent it. Like, just green candle out of nowhere. Like, we really rocked it, which we'll get to. I don't want to skip too far ahead. As far as XLF, I probably would have played the continuation. I'm glad I didn't, just because of this right here, to bail out the customers. I think at that point, everyone's going to play it safe, and then everyone's going to be fine. I am curious, though, why such a quick reaction on this? Do they know the fear it's about to cause, or do they know something else right around the corner, and they want to just nip this one in the bud? Like, hey, we're doing a controlled fire over here, but we got a wildfire over here. We need to put that out. So I guess at that point, we're going down rabbit holes. So it's very interesting to see. So we'll see where the panic does come from. If you caught the knife on the XLF, that was a pricey one. That was definitely a sharp knife. The short play did make sense, especially getting below this zone. The knife to catch probably was this zone. Breaking that was probably the short play. You're saying a continuation green, as in like continuing this candle right here, continuing that up. The continuation would be the trend just south. I don't know. If you're thinking green, I'm kind of on board the XLF. Bet we open back in the zone. If we did do that, I would favor the long position, and I do think that's actually a likely scenario. Sounds like they're nipping this in the bud. Hey, everyone, chill the F out, because if you see this bank lose, they're failed, and you go ask your bank, hey, what's up, and you even hear them stutter, if it's not just just outright Chad response, like just straight cocky, we got this, you even hear that stutter, that weakness in their voice, there's going to be a cash run. Like, it'd just be ridiculous. So hopefully they're nipping that in the bud, and XLF catches a bid. We are a little bit oversold, so I can see a bounce up. So bouncing into that zone would almost make this like a wick scenario, and this still actually holding. And then I would take the long play. The question is, how much room would you give it? If you're going to hold it for some time, I would give my stop all the way down here, 32.45. So it's literally $1. It's not the biggest mover, but it's $1 per share. They got to smoke all the put holders. I don't know if they want to smoke all the put holders. It's just that puts are probably expensive. Maybe they want cheap puts, and there's two sides to the coin, heads and tails, right? And that is the tail side. Is they're going to gap this thing up because they want cheaper puts. Banks suck. They make me call before I can get any real amount of cash. It's dumb. It's because banks don't actually have cash on them, which is why a bank run just creates a lot of fear, because they will start telling people no. And banks just naturally don't have it. If you give them $100, they are literally out there just leveraging that. Like $100, you putting $100 to them is like an $1,100 deposit. They don't have jack. They were required to have 10% on hand. I think in 2020 that changed to 0, up to 0. There's a law that changed in 2020. It made all this irrelevant. That physical building you're in that has like a giant safe, borderline pointless. I guess that's the reason why the ATMs are taking over, because that's really all they need is just a stacked out ATM, and they're covered. And ATMs run out of cash. So as it sits right now, if we get this good news and the green react, should we still green? I don't want to jump ahead. Provided we're still green in the morning, I'm gonna look for a bounce and a continuation. I guess the back and forth is it does gap up, I go along, and it tags out. You know, I was wrong, it bounces. If we start to give that up, it's not going to be good. We'll get back to that. Let's kick it off with the dollar. The dollar opened up and it's down. I've been getting crypto alerts all day. Crypto's been, I don't want to say booming, but Bitcoin was 20,000. Yeah, and then we're just rocking and rolling. We're up. We're less red if you just bought it up here. I know I don't trade crypto. I do buy it, but I don't trade it. I'd buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. I even had Ethereum turned off for a while, so it was just Bitcoin. Don would know about banks and money. Don't tell them the secrets, okay? If you're in my mentorship chat, you can't tell everyone the secrets. Maybe this will help people realize the dangers of banks are innumerable, but the main risk to Bitcoin is a solar flare. There's been a lot of talk about how this will probably spark a lot of crypto. What are the people that make crypto? People that write the code, all that. would spark a lot of those guys like, hey, yeah, the people that can't do that, put your genius over here, like this does make sense. So if anything, this whole thing is a I don't want to say a bullish scenario. Probably a good thing if we can get some more into the crypto space. I guess you can never have a run on crypto because everybody would just be if the whole world was crypto and no cash, you would just be transferring your coin from one thing to the next. Your value would just go down, but the coin would still be there. Dan will buy a bank, maybe SoFi. I forgot I said Dan would be here today. He's just not. Sorry about that. If you guys have ever seen Dan, twin brother, but he wears glasses. Clearly I got the better genes. But I'm also the one they call aggressive on the YouTube. He's the nice one. He won't call you stupid. But I'll have to ask him if he's going to buy SoFi. We both agreed to buy SoFi at $3. When it was at, what, 12 or something like that? Might as well be SoFu. Ooh, almost there. What was it? It was back here. Yeah, it was at like $12. Said I'd buy SoFi at $3. We're almost there. Give it a couple weeks. KRE is the regional bank's ETF. Let's go. Oh, I'm afraid to look. Now, if there's gonna be a dip buy, that might be the one. I like XLF because I trade that a lot, so I really like this right now. It's also something I've never traded, so in theory it does sound like a better deal, but I don't know. I guess we broke it down one time up here. Let's see. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Sorry if you can hear my kid just losing her mind right outside the door. I think they understand. Anyway. Alright. Man. Jake, you still here? What do you think? Would you do this or XLF? I think this is a little bit more specific, I guess. I don't know what the what's in this ETF. Sorry about that. All right. Jake says yes. This I think. Okay, so carry. Okay. Well, how much is that? Isn't it 30? Yeah, $30. I bet this one will probably move. You know what? I bet the best analogy for this is AMD and Nvidia. XLF would be like AMD, the slower mover, and I bet this one's going to be like Nvidia, the spicy one, the one that's going to dance. So be careful if this one gaps up, because if it gaps up, it might throw off some wicks like this. If I was going to do this, I'd keep that stop wide. If you have a stop anywhere within range, it's likely going to tag out just in the volatility. The regional banks are at risk. They are, I think the whole banking system was with this, but the reason I would say that is because of this right here, U.S. regulators to bail out the customers, and it was this wording right here. Where do we see it? To ensure public confidence in America's banking system. I'm in the way, but... So right here, ensure public confidence in America's banking system. I think that right there might cause a dip buy on the banks. This, at best, I think would be a day trade. I don't know if it's something I would swing. What I would do is I would buy it, pops up, I'd put my stop in the green, and I would trail it. Now, if it avoided my stop loss all day, ran into the bell, I would close half the position, I think. It's bailing out the customers, not the company. Yeah, but this is all still a mindset thing. That's one bank that got into trouble, and the rest of the banks caught the smoke for it. So if it's a confidence thing and it boosts that, then people might be all right. Again, we'll see. It's all just playing mind games with everybody. It still has to gap up first. Second bank has gone down? Which one? Or are you talking about Silvergate and then SVB? Signature bank calls? I don't know if I would even be in calls. I'd probably just keep it shares. Maybe one at the bell. I'd keep my risk pretty light. SNBY? Is that Signature Bank? No, it's not even a ticker. Actually, I would keep it. You guys are going to start tossing out banks, and I don't know about them, so I would just be giving you my best guess, which is not any more educated than yours. I'd just be looking at a chart. That's it. I would probably stick with one of these. At least it's an ETF. So let's say you pick the one bank that gets smoked. Whatever position you went long to try to catch that dip in, you're toasted off. Like, it's done. You got an ETF, one bank gets smoked, but the others are just slightly red. Like, it'll save face. You're not going to avoid a catastrophe, but it might be a little bit better. S&BY is closed. Sounds like you can't play it anyway. So if we always bail out banks, doesn't that make the confidence in the USD go to zero? James, actually not bailing out the bank. They're bailing out the customers. SB and Y. Okay. If this actually closed, then... Nope. Man. From what I'm hearing in the comments, I would rather place my money on a few banks with that ETF or the XLF than just go and single one out like this. Okay, so it saves Roku. Is that what you're worried about? Please save Roku. What about TLT? We are going to get onto the normal streams. I don't know. I kind of want to buy the dip. Like, it's popped up. I'm hoping that actually pulls back to buy this dip. Where did I buy it at? Okay. So I bought it in January. It popped up, and I'm already out of it. I wish I would have bought that again. All right, let's move and groove. We already did the dollar. The dollar's red. I'm not in a Forex play right now. I'm going to hang out. We're kind of at an awkward spot right here. Just going off this last bit, that giant move up, few days down. Technically, we're still inside this move. So what sometimes I talk. What I'm going to do is wait for a daily close above or below for now. Like, I'm just going to hang out for that. When that breaks, I'll make my move. With Forex, oftentimes you guys watch me take this trade live because I just check it at night. I'm on the daily time frame. Intraday and stuff, I'm watching futures. I got options going. So I do trade all asset classes. The reason, what really helps me out with that is like Forex is on the daily. It's a much smaller time frame. Futures, Forex, much higher time frame. Futures might be intraday, so 15-minute stocks, 4-hour. So having all of that separate like that is what allows me to trade all asset classes. So I'm not worried about this little move right here. Just kind of creates an awkward sideways move for a while. We've been in this whole range for some time now. So I do want to wait till we get above or below that. Let's see, if the Fed has to bail out customers, it is a huge negative for overall the economy. Yeah, we're still printing money. We saw what that did. Rich people want the FDIC to cover more than the agreed amount. It is Silicon Valley Bank. Like, what if it was just your local credit union, you know, and all they had was middle-class customers? You guys wouldn't get a second look. We don't need to get started on that rant because that pisses me off. The middle class just gets bent over in every scenario. But can you imagine if that was you? You don't even have the $250,000. You just want to get like bail FDIC and be like, I know you're insured, but we ran out of money. So equities to the moon, I wouldn't go that far. Let's watch the dollar right here. It will be harder for equities to climb if the dollar starts climbing. As far as the Russell goes, it's already not a good look. So let's just go back to the open. Indecisive. So the open was this red candle right here. I was short the NASDAQ and the S&P. So that's where I just got out. And this rip. Now I didn't get out because I thought this was coming. I actually was not prepared for that. If I knew that was coming, I would have bought the dip. Jumped up, hit that zone, sold off. I guess if anything, I would be very cautious on this. I'd buy the dip. If you're buying the futures right now, this would be the with the 2K. Still with a number, so I just always call it the Russell. I guess I would go long, put my stop right here below this wick. But that is literally you just out there paddling against the current. That's a spicy one to take. There's a pretty decent argument that pop-up was just a good short entry. I've heard one strategy is Fed buys back the bonds at face value. I don't know. And if I start even giving my opinion on that, I wouldn't want it to carry any weight to anyone else. Very confident in my decisions in watching this, but as far as like playing the guessing game on that, I don't know. My guess probably is, I promise, just as good as your guys' on that one. As far as the Qs, if that's all we get out of this zone, you're gonna wish you went short this one. If I was short still, where would it be? If I went short right now, my stop would be above this wick. There's a pretty decent argument for that short play right now, as a matter of fact. We knew we'd find some buyers at this zone right here. And if that's as high as we can get, trouble. Ooh, man, not a good look. I'd say, honestly, tinfoil hat or not, it looks like we're setting up for a red reaction to CPI. You know, like we're holding this zone, just constantly making lower highs. The forever bulls are just about to get spanked, is what that really looks like. So I guess we'll keep an eye on this. Marty short been riding the wave. They don't make it easy. If I got short somewhere up here and for some reason I haven't stopped out, I'd kick my feet up and just be comfortable. I'm debating on getting back in short right now. I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning to see where this volume goes. You're currently short Palantir in the green. I wouldn't be too worried about getting out. I even told the people in my chat, they said, there's always someone's like, oh, market's going to rip tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be green. It's always like that hopeful. I do have a couple bears that are like, no, this thing's going down blood red. But I said, step one, we got to get above this zone right here. So far, we haven't. We got that, some weirdness, and then right here. Which is why, as far as a play goes, taking the short play right here, oh, you got a nice little better entry. Short play, I'd put my stop. I'd probably give the extra couple bucks. So if I put my stop right here, this one wick, what that wick tells me is it went up and it rejected. So I know plenty of Winnie the Poohs are there. Or people that are long didn't want to hold it any further, so they sold. But if it were to jump up just a little bit higher, if I scoop my stop just a little bit higher, now look at all this. Rejection there, rejection there, rejection here. Every time it got to that level, sold off. So I think I would just put my stop right there. Scoot up a little bit, take profit would be right there. Then once that did break down, get out of that zone, I'd put my stop in the green. This is how I do every day, guys. Once that thing gets out of that zone, I can put my stop right here in the green. As it, continues to sell off, I'll just move this up. Once it gets to this zone, I'll hang out right here. Hopefully it breaks down. We get to the yellow, and the trade looks more like that. And I can trail it the whole way. So if you're new here, I trail everything. Hope it goes to 1 million. It just hasn't happened yet. But there's no such thing as managing a red trade. There's no if it goes up here, I move my stop or I double down or do anything weird. There's no management. You rolled the dice, it went south. That's that. But you want to squeeze every dollar you can, which is why I don't just sell stuff. And it's why I make fun of people that do. Just joking, but like, this trade's running good. It's like, I peeled off half. I'm like, cool. Was it running too good? You afraid you're going to make too much? In my head, doesn't make a sense. They'll take off a quarter, they'll take off another quarter, take off another quarter. Best running. If you did that with Tesla, you bought 100 shares of Tesla at the bottom, and it just went up, kept going up. You're at 75, 50, 25, 20, 10, 5. Then you got one share just going to 2,500 like it did because you bought it at 300 bucks. Like, banging. Why not just keep your whole position and then just tag out when it turns? Bitcoin's popping. What's it at? 22? I gotta say, guys, this is a lot of movement for a Sunday night. Honestly, like, some of you, man, I hate to be this person. If you're bullish, I would really second guess that, because this looks like a great entry to just go short. What do you guys think? Anybody else getting that feeling? Because with this much movement on a Sunday, granted, there's a lot of excitement in the market, not to be good, but just volatility in general. People are worked up. The FOMO rally, I don't know. You're waiting for a pump up to short. This might just be the pump up to go short. I'm in this. I stand every bit to just make a whole lot of money if Bitcoin roars to $1 million. I'm willing to bet I have more Bitcoin than everybody in the chat added up right now, maybe even multiplied. But I still think that's not a good sign. Biden gives a speech tomorrow regarding the banking crisis. Right now, that has the market in a clutch hold. I get that. Hopefully they say some bullish stuff. They're probably going to announce separation from charts. I hope they announce that all the customers are fine. I don't care if it is Silicon Valley. I don't hate rich people for doing a good job. I hope the customers are taken care of. Banks, if you suck as a company, I hope you do fail. It's just what happens. FOMO always turns into fear of losing money. I never stand in front of trains. It's not a bad play. That's why I'm not telling everybody to jump on the tracks and go short. But if I was long, I'd be trailing. Why are futures popping? I don't know. Who knows? The only news I saw coming out was they were going to bail out the customers. Hang on, my mouse jumped it right behind. I keep forgetting I'm in the way. I leave knife catching to pros like Don. It hurts sometimes. If they were physical knives, I'd probably have my thumbs left. That'd be about it. Didn't I catch a katana last week? I did. Yeah, I went long. I did catch a knife last week. That hurt. Stung. Ask Eddie. He probably knows. I'm sure there's a rabbit hole excuse. Just got me some Bitcoin. Hey, are you serious? High Tech Hap? Did you just buy it at 22 like this? How this affect the PE industry? I don't know. Crypto's up 100x and down 90% the next day. It can be. $240 worth? I don't know your account, your situation. You plan on holding that for a while? Like, what if... Don't take this the wrong way. $250 is... $240 is not life-changing. So, if that were to just jump down to 10 grand, where I'm going to buy a lot, you're at 120 bucks, you're fine. But, like, what if that was a scenario, if it jumped down to that? You going to be good? I'd really caution the buy-in right here. So, heads and tails to every coin. I'm going to start using this more often because I literally keep it at my desk. Just as the reminder, that cheesy little reminder. This is Lady Liberty. Yeah. Anyway. This could be the start of everybody flooding in. And so that's the head side. And you want to be on that train. The faster you can get on, the better. Hey, this train's leaving the dock. It's time to get on. I'll grab the bags I can. That's that. Or that's the pump because someone wants to short it and they want a better entry. I just cashed out my 401k. Stop. I don't know why that last stream had so many people asking about their 401s. Let's do a couple tickers before I get out of here. I do have to get to my mentorship group. So if you guys are curious, by the way, I have a Patreon. Should be the second link in the description. They're right there at the top. They're grouped together. There's the Teachable. That's the course. And then there's Patreon. Patreon Tier 1, $5 a month. I have a growth account that we started with $0, putting in $150 a week. We might buy XLF tomorrow. We are going to sell. Hopefully tomorrow's green because I want to sell some forward calls. I tried to sell some forward calls Friday. It didn't fill. So look out for that alert tomorrow. Tier 2 is the mentorship. That's where you get the chat. You can hang out with me all day. I do encourage you. You guys are in the Discord. Talk. I will know more about you and help you better the more active you are. So jump in there. There's not a question too stupid. If you've ever heard me yell at Eddie, ignore that. I promise. It's not real. But jump in there tomorrow. How's Tesla going to do tomorrow? So this is an interesting question because Elon's already just putting the feelers out there that he could buy SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. I didn't want to say SVB Bank because that sounds weird. You love it. So I'm curious how this could pan out. Because you know Elon's piggy bank is Tesla shares. And if everyone starts reading between the lines on that and think he's going to buy it, it's going to be just like Twitter. There goes another $20 billion. I mean, if it were to come to fruition like that, Tesla would be at 120 tomorrow morning. So it's going to be everyone's opinion on the subject is really what's going to show up tomorrow. If the markets are green, hopefully Tesla's green. The one reason Tesla might sit that out is because investors just aren't going to ride that wagon again with Elon buying something else after he said he wasn't going to sell shares at least. I'm not sure how much cash he has in his wallet, but I'm pretty sure Silicon Valley Bank, it's going to cost a little bit more. Please don't, Elon. So I can easily, if right now the futures are green. If we continue that up, it looks like we're going to have a green day. If Tesla's sitting that out, it's because of that. So Bitcoin at 10K sounds amazing. It does. I'm buying a 6-pack in medical Mary Jane. That's funny. Why would he do something stupid like that? He already bought Twitter, which is a big money drain. Well, he wants to make the X app, the Everything app, where you can transact and go back and forth. It's a lot easier to buy a bank than it is to start a bank. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that, or like a dealership. A lot of people, at least I know a lot of people that tried to start car dealerships. Some did. And it's a lot easier to buy one that's already there versus going and starting your own. And that would be the case, because if he wants to get into that realm and have a charter, he needs to buy one. That he doesn't need to. It'd just be a lot easier if he did. Just change what's there. I bet he does in the future. I think this is one of those, like, I'm sure this conversation has already come up with Elon, probably quite a bit, talking about the X app. And this is going to be one of those things like, I plan on buying it in the future, but the opportunity might be here now, and I might take advantage of that. Now the government is stepping in. Elon doesn't need to buy. No, the government's only helping the customers. The bank's still failing. All right. So hopefully Tesla, I don't know. It's one I trade a lot, but I own a lot of this too. I hope it does that. I hope Elon does announce he's buying it. I hope this thing just... I want like a rock tied to an anchor dropped in the ocean. Like an anchor is just not fast enough for me. Elon needs to invest in a gym membership. Hey, I saw Docu. Man. I mean, DocuSign sucks. So I wanted to say that's why it's selling off, because I can't stand when people send me documents on DocuSign. I use Dotloop. I think it's a million times better. You seriously doubt this will be the last bank to fail? I don't know if I want to agree with that, but I will say the fear that everyone has, I think it's warranted. I'll put it that way. Another few years till the truck comes out? No kidding. I did crack and buy a new one. I bought a Bronco to be my new toy. I can't tell what I want to do with it. Am I full-blown monster trucking this thing up? I found out you can put the 5.0 in there, like the Mustang 5.0. Like, that kind of sounds amazing. What would you guys do? I know once you lift them and put bigger wheels and tires on there, they just get slow. I don't know if I like that. Do Patreon members get access to your other live stream? Tier 2, yeah. Because Tier 2 is everything. That is the mentorship. Tier 1, no. Where can I find your Tesla chart in the Discord? Go under charts and just find my chart link. And just type in Tesla. SVB isn't the only bank underwater from the Fed hikes. So that I agree with. I think there's a lot of banks underwater, and I think that's why the Feds are jumping in to bail out the customers here, because if there is a bank run, they will be doing stimulus checks to get everybody out of this water. So I think if they just nip this in the bud right now so everybody doesn't just put that extra strain on banks, I think that's kind of the mindset. You have to re-gear it or jack up the horsepower on it. Yeah, I'm going to just jack up the horsepower. Regearing just seems fake. I don't want to lose anything. I don't want to lose the top end because I re-geared it down. What if I want to go 160? I think it's like, how much do I put into a Broncos? My next question. This docu sucks. Let's do Meta and Microsoft. I think are going to be my favorites. Microsoft is my favorite for the year. I do like Meta though. Meta kind of looks like a dip buy. I'm not a fan of. If Meta breaks this yellow zone, I would quit buying. If I were to go long though, I'd give it this whole 167.35 would be my stop. I would give it that much wiggle room. You sold 180 covered calls for $3 for this Friday. What do you think? For which one? I missed another comment if you said that. What did you sell 180 calls on? Meta has earnings Thursday? No, they don't. They already had earnings. Yeah, no, they don't have earnings this Thursday. They had earnings a while back. Kramer's doing a live on the bank crisis tonight. Oh boy. Well, you know how that's going to pan out. Bullish or bear tomorrow, just got here. As it sits right now, if this continues, I'm thinking bullish. It's troubling that it hasn't even gotten above that zone. But typically on a Sunday, overnight hours like this, I would say take that with a grain of salt. But also, this is more movement we've seen on a Sunday in a while. So I would be careful. I sold 180 strike on this Friday for $3 on Tesla. Okay. Do you think we're closer? Do you think we close under 180 this week or we rock it? You sold the 180. That sucks. Oh, did I not do Tesla? Shoot. Tesla's expected move was 12.55, but it looks like I did not do it in my video. Yeah, so you're inside the expected move just on that. You're pushing it as far as that's a contract I would not have sold. Just because it could jump up to that just fine, no muss, no fuss, without even a catalyst going on. I would probably, if those are green at all tomorrow, I would manage it. I would reposition that. If it's red, you want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Hang on to it for CPI. CPI is likely going to be that nail in the coffin for the Bulls or the Bears. So you'll get your answer Tuesday. Tesla can do 2 standard deviations. Yeah, 2 standard deviations, no problem. If there's one ticker that's going to go 3 or 4, it was IWM last week, the Russell. But you know, no one's making a surprise YouTube video when Tesla does 2 standard deviations. So typically when I sell contracts, I will go just outside the zone. Because I know, first of all, I trust my zones, these yellow boxes, and I know they're not just going to just blast right through there. There's some kind of management. We're going to hit that and kind of pull back, hit it, and reverse, but in there I'll make any kind of management decision. Hopefully there's enough of a pullback or a stall that it actually, what that does, share-wise, you guys might think is not much, but options contracts outside go from worth something to nothing just in that next day. So that's why I like to go above it. So 190s would have been the least I would have sold. So yeah, if that's green at all, I would manage that. How do you know the expected move is 1250? Psychic. Looked it up. Actually, I already pulled that up. So every hopefully it does. Yeah. So 1255. Do I still have it up? So here's my other YouTube channel. So Don Fron Trading. I know a lot of you guys don't know about it because it's only 1.3 subs. But I do. So it just came out 19 minutes ago. You just got notified. There's only 12 views on it. But I actually pull up the expected moves for IWM, QQQ, SPY, and Tesla. That video is going to be just shy of Tesla, though. Sorry about that. So if you're watching this, even as a recording, click a live chat. You'll see my admin Jake hooking it up right there. So that's the link to the other channel. If you guys want to go sub to that. I want to do more videos. There's going to be more real estate and like investing stuff. That's all recorded stuff, where this channel is going to be just live. Right now, that's the video that comes out every Sunday. Buy IWM at 161, rain or shine for the sideways till not. Yeah. Tried to set an alert there at the beginning of this stream. Or maybe it was the recorded one. Yeah, if you look at IWM, maybe that was on Don Fron Trading. So yeah, sideways until not. And I had an alert right here. It was actually 164.50. That's where I'm going to buy the Russell. So the banks can freak out. Everyone can lose their minds. I don't care. It's worth at least taking a stop down there. Like buying it and stopping out. I'm still going to catch that knife if we got that far. But IWM, I actually love it when it throws us off, and it's a very popular pattern for it. No stop. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. Shout out to everybody. If you're curious, I'm going on to the mentorship stream now, which is that Patreon level 2. Again, level 1, that's where you guys get the trade alerts for that growth account. Just so you guys know, it emails you every time I post a trade. I post everything I do there, and then a screenshot as well, so it's easy. But if you download the Patreon app, you actually get a notification. You can turn that on. So that's the $5 a month. That's tier 1. So if you want to jump on over there, check that out. That's the link in the description. But mentorship, we're going live right now. Everyone else, you will for sure see me at least Tuesday. I might have to fit us. I'm trying to stream more. The goal is 100,000 subscribers, and I stream Monday through Friday, open to close. Oh, and the chart links. You do get the chart link too. So if you're curious about these yellow boxes, you can't draw them for yourself and you want to use mine, I post my chart link in there. You will see a video on there from Jake on how to copy that. So you have all my zones. You can type in whatever you want. If I've drawn it out, you'll see it. If there's if you have a ticker that doesn't have any zones on there, jump on a live stream, comment on the Patreon, let me know, and I'll zone it out for you. But I'm going to end it here. I'll see you guys in the next video.